The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Now, Karlee, I want you to explain this because I've tried to explain this many times. And it's difficult for me to get it across and make people really understand it, okay? Now, obviously, Karlee, I've been in, WWE locker rooms, TNA, WCW. I've been in every locker room you can imagine, okay? So have you. You know when you're in a wrestling locker room. You know when you're backstage at a wrestling show. I like to refer to it as the wrestling bubble. You're in your own little world there. The rules of the real world don't exist. It's a psychotic bizarro land. I got to tell you, man, I walked into the tapings at Lucha. The minute I walked in, I was like, this is different. This is not a wrestling show. Keep in mind, I didn't even have access to the locker rooms or anything like that, but I'm big on this is what I'm so big on. And this is where, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, all those other promotions are falling short because it's 2015 and they're treating wrestling like wrestling, and wrestling is archaic. It's a television show. Treat it like a freaking television show. As soon as I walked into Lucha, I knew this is a television show. These are television stars. There are television producers.
Yes.
Please explain that to people as a performer who's been in both worlds. Walk me through that. Like, you immediately know this is not wrestling. This is a television show.
Well, I've tried to explain it. Fans ask me, people ask me what it's like, the difference, and and people who I see come in now as tryouts all say the same thing, and they're so relaxed. And I tell them, chill out, dude, relax, because you can see people standing like this, up against the wall. They're so fucking nervous. They don't touch, need to shake everything. Just be nice. There aren't rules here like that. It is a television show. It is looked at as a television show. It just happens that there's wrestling on it. And that's what it is. There is nothing backstage or in that locker room. The only thing that is wrestling are wrestling terms are still used. When talking to each other and when speaking certain things, obviously wrestling terms are used. Half the people are from TV. They don't know what we're saying. They don't know what an Iggy is. They don't know what any of that is. So we have a half television movie and half wrestling combined now together, which to me is what was needed in this industry to make product out of wrestling bubble, and we are not used or treated backstage like that. There's none of that. You do not have to walk on eggshells. You can be yourself. You can have ideas. You can think for yourself, just like it should be, like in a normal set,
Karlee, this is what I'm real interested in, though. This is what I'm real interested in. This is the part of the business like that I love. I love the psychology part of the business and human beings and how people act. Now, you had a little time off, between WWE. Now when you go into Lucha, now you're really, in your mind, you're really now embracing the acting aspect of it. Like you said, I'm doing readings with John Voight, the process you went through to get an agent and an agency. So now, you were in the wrestling world, but now you've had time to really embrace and understand acting. Okay? Here's my question to you now. With that environment of Lucha, and I met Eric, the executive producer, I met all these people. It's a television show, Karlee. But here's the thing. you're still putting wrestlers in that environment. And you and I know wrestlers. We know wrestlers, and it would have been very easy for these wrestlers to say, "Oh, you know what is this shit? This is a wrestling show. Well, they're doing these pretty vignettes. This is wrestling." I know a million wrestlers who would have said that and gone against the grain. The amazing thing to me when I was there, including that lunatic Vampiro, the amazing thing to me was how did wrestlers actually fall into place and embrace, forget the wrestling business. This is now television. How did that happen?
You feel, I don't know, timing, the right people at the right time. I do believe in the laws of attraction. We have wrestlers from all over the world. We have wrestlers who never stepped foot into WWE who are fucking incredible, from the indie scene to AAA to Morrisons and Chavos, and who grew like that's all they ever knew. But it didn't matter. We all fell in with each other into this kind of, I like to call it like the oddball out. We were all a group that either was not used correctly or never got the chance. But holy shit, it's a group of talented people. And I think everybody at the right time was willing. You had to be willing to try something new at the right time. And it was timing for everybody, all the way down to our executive producers, you know, to Eric, who are incredible. And they're very understanding for the people who come from the wrestling industry who don't get the other aspects, you know, and they work with you. They don't want to force you. They don't want to put you in a miserable state. They want you there happy. They want you to work, because that shows when you're on television. And it does. If you look, holy shit, the product in one season, I feel, was, we made a better product in one season than has been done in a decade, you know? And it's because as a group, you know, we all were just open to trying something new. And you're right, I think it was fun for them. The people who've never had the chance to really shine, you're now getting, it may not be in their minds WWE, but man, when you watch that product, you can tell how much money and time is put into it. And when you see yourself for the first time out there, and you feel it, they felt at home again. So they go out there and they wrestle, but they know that they're actually going to be given a chance now, as long as they're willing to take a chance, you know, on something new. And I think that's what happened. We all just happened to go, you know what? Let's take a chance. Let's do it. You know, we don't know this industry. This is a TV show, but let's all jump on board and make it good. And they're professionals. We're all professionals. I got to tell you the greatest compliment I could give Lucha Underground, and this is the God honest truth. Now, listen, you know, Karlee, I made, you know, good money in the WWE, you know, and I'm sure even, you know, at your age and your level, you made great money at the WWE. And listen, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, me doing my own podcast now and having my own little business here, I'm going to be 55 in a couple of weeks, and I'm back on the hustle. And I'm not, you know, I mean, I'm not making a tenth, you know, of what I made. I mean, nowhere close. So like I always, you know, so again, it's difficult. I didn't plan on being in this spot at 55, but right. Then I got to be honest with you. Then I think about, okay, do I make the connections? Do I make the phone calls? But I still talk to people inside of the WWE. I still talk to people inside of TNA. Nothing has changed. It's an absolutely miserable environment that will never change. So after I'm reminded of this is why you left in the first place, I'm like, you know what? I'll struggle over here on my own. Thank you very much. I walked into Lucha Underground. This is the God honest truth. And I just kind of sat back and I observed everything. And I said to myself in my mind, if there were ever a place where like I could be a consultant, you know, where like,
I could sit back, watch the show, send notes to Chris and Eric, whatever, every week. This would be the perfect. I would love to get in. Yeah. I would love to feel what these people are feeling. That's how I felt. But I got to tell you, this is the God honest truth, the greatest compliment I could give Lucha. Then I sat back and I said to myself, I said, you know what? They don't need Vince Russo. They don't need me. Everything they're doing is how wrestling should be done in 2050. They don't need me. They don't need my opinion. They don't need my input. That's how impressed, that I was. And this was my biggest concern with Lucha from day one. When I look at the product, I know what the production costs are. You do not put on a show like that for cheap. There is no question that a lot of money goes into the product. And I also know, though, on the other hand, how long it takes to build an audience. It takes time to build a loyal audience. So my biggest concern was, are they going to be able to keep doing what they're doing on the level they're doing it, knowing it's going to take time to grow the audience? It's not going to happen overnight. That's why, I really got nervous between seasons when it was up in the air. Because the thing is, Karlee, too, it's like I understood exactly where you guys were at. However, if you watered down the product in any way, shape, or form, it just wouldn't have been the same. You know what I mean?
No, it definitely wouldn't have been the same. And we were all worried. We were all worried, we all sitting there, but man, was it after that first season, and just even even though the audience wasn't on a WWE level, we had a hell of a cult following. And it was a great teaser and starter that first season, and we had I think enough eyes. That first season opened people's eyes, and this second season I think is really gonna take in their hearts. When people were when that following starts to come day by day, and you're right, you can't water it down now, because we had to keep with what we already started.
Yeah.
And you can't lower. You have to make it better, which we did. It's crazy. I didn't think it could be better, but man, I get so pumped when I get pumped that the producers are pumped. Yeah. When the producer comes to me and goes, Karlee, which they do. When Eric Van Wagen comes to me and goes, Karlee, you gotta check this shit out. You gotta come to my office and look at this. And he shows me. When I first saw that teaser video for season 2. Oh my God. Yeah.
Hey, Karlee, I lost your video. Do you know if you did anything different? Because I'm kind of just getting the picture of you now, and I hate that everybody can't see you when you're talking. Do you know if you did? Maybe it's just.
What do I maybe?
Maybe it's just the connection.
Connection.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Maybe if I press there you go. Oh no.
I don't worry about it. If it's probably just connection. Hey, Karlee, I have to ask you this though. When between seasons, was it really up in the air? Or were you guys were you in the dark? Did you know what was going on? Or were you just kind of on the sideline like everybody else, reading about the developments or and what was going to happen, or were they keeping you abreast of the situation?
I was told there was going to be another season. Now, even though, especially coming from this industry, when you're told some things, or, or showbiz in general, you're told some things, but you're not seeing too much movement, you start to get a little worried. But I trusted what they were telling me. So, I was just trying to get myself prepared as much as possible and get ready for it. We didn't know the exact dates when, but I was told it was going to happen.
Okay, now Karlee, tell me about season 2. Give me the start date, what we can expect to see. Get us excited about season 2 of Lucha.
Oh
I mean, we already are, but give me a couple of little tidbits if you possibly can.
Well, season 2 airs January 27th. Starts January 27th, so it's right around the corner. Everybody who was pumped and didn't think it could get better from season 1, it got 10 times better, and I didn't think it was possible. Just everybody's work. Season 2, now everybody's comfortable with what they are and who they are. You know, it was like the setting point, including myself, including Catrina, and holy shit, it's one hell of a show. And it's the vignettes, the character, the storylines. It's just insane, these storylines. And you just aren't going to get that anywhere else. You just aren't. And there's different looks. It's just crazy. I have a totally different look for season 2. I'm sure there's some teasers out there. I know people have seen it on the live filmings, but you know, everyone already knows I come back running Lucha Undergrounds, running the temple, and in my mind, if I'm going to run the temple and I'm going to be in a power position, why would I look and be the same? So I come back as a total like Pulp Fiction character, and just even more brutal than I was in season 1.
Now, does that mean that Dario Cueto isn't there anymore?
He is not there when, you know, I can't.
When we start, he's not there when we start.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
You want to, I mean, Karlee, not for anything, you want to talk about a great character.
Oh, yes.
Please.
And you want to talk about, like, I couldn't be more happy to have me and him as the, you know, 2 and 2 against each other, because it's one hell of a fight between the both of us that we can put up with. One hell of a power trip, two different twists to us, but you collide us together, and our chemistry, and he is amazingly talented, and I love working with him, and he brings out a lot in me, and I know I bring out a lot in him, and that's who you want to work with. People that bring it out of you.
You know, Karlee, you know what the funny thing is with your character, and I swear I've never, ever, ever said this about a female character before, but, you know, usually, you know, when you have, you know, female characters that don't start as wrestlers, you know they're going to wrestle. I mean, you know, that's the way it's going to be written, where there's going to come a time and they're going to come a place and they're going to wrestle. I mean, you know, I had the honor and privilege of working with both, you know, Sable and China, you know, at the same time, and you just knew they were going to be in the ring and they were going to become wrestlers. I look at Catrina, and I swear to God, I don't think I've ever said this before. I hope Catrina doesn't wrestle. I really don't, because you've established a movie star, and there's this presence. There's a female presence. And listen, right now in the wrestling business, I think it's fair to say you're the only one with a female presence of power. You know, I guess you could say, you know, you've got Stephanie McMahon, but if I hear Stephanie McMahon scream like a 5-year-old child one more week, I swear I'm going to stab myself in the head with a fork. You have the beauty and the power, and it's so unique. Like, you would be the one girl that I would say, please don't put her in tights and put her in the ring.
Right. No, and that's exactly why they haven't.
Yeah.
You know, Chris's minds, why would we, you know, if she delivers this in this way, why? They don't want you to see me any more than you have to. They don't want to water me down. They don't want to do something just to do it. They want it to have meaning, and I understand that, and they know I understand that. So there's never any, you know how some people in that industry, like, no, I want to wrestle, you know, and that's all they want to do is, I want to give them a good product and a good character, and and I understand what they're saying, so I will never fight them on that.
Yeah.
I will deliver what I'm doing the best of my capability and make that character. I want to make her the strongest female character in this industry, or at least that's been around for a minute now.
Yeah.
You know,
Karlee, you know what I've always tried to make the younger athletes understand this, and they don't, and I hate to say this, I hate to use the expression, they don't understand it because they're total marks. And what I try to explain to them is wrestling is a business. Every wrestler, like every athlete, you have a shelf life. You only have so much time that you're going to be able to capitalize on this and make as much money as you possibly can. Yep. Now, in order to prolong your career, would you choose to do crazy, unnecessary spots off the top rope where you can break your neck in an instant, or would it not be smart to develop a character, be able to cut the promo, be able to act, be able to talk, yep, wrestle only when you need to wrestle, and you can go out and do that till you're 50, 60 years old? But it's always, they wanted to wrestle and be this wrestler and be this wrestler. And what's going to happen?
They put that in their head, and you're 100% right. And here's a little. That's not a secret, Like, it's very clear now what my goals are and what I've pursued outside of wrestling. But you're right. I can't beat myself up forever. I don't step foot in the ring now. But think about the footage and the stuff I put together as a character that I have for the entertainment industry towards acting is undeniable now. And that's what I thought of. I said, you know what can I do for my future outside the wrestling industry?
Yep.
Because I'm not going to be in this industry forever.
That's what
I may want my foot in it. I may want to help. I may one day want to be, in a position where I can help generations behind me, especially females, not just be divas or looked at as a certain way. But I want to act. I want to see how far I can go outside this industry. I'm getting high production footage with a badass character that my manager can go, holy shit, this is going to this casting director.
Right.
This is going to this producer. We're going to send this with this footage and this stuff now. And that's my thought process on it. What can I do for my future outside of wrestling? Do you know how hard it is for, just like anything you start out as an actor or an actress? One of the hardest things, 101 in that industry, is putting a reel together. How do you put a reel together if you're not working? How do you put quality footage together in your living room with a camera? Same way, wrestlers started in their backyard, wrestling. That's how a lot of them learned and taught themselves. They didn't have the ability like I did to go to FCW or get paid to train. I was lucky. But leaving the industry, I'm getting quality stuff with the highest production value with some great writers and great characters, and I have a badass reel I can put together. So when I'm ready to fully leave or whatever it is I want to do, I now have the footage, the ability, and the resume to do it. It's not about wrestling, outside of it. And I wanted a career outside of it. But when it comes to the wrestlers who want to stay in this industry, characters are just so important. And I'm sure you tell people all the time, they want to get in there, they want to beat themselves up, and it's emotional. You can have an emotional match. But, man, if you can make them emotionally attached to you without getting your ass beat.
No, exactly, because at the end of the day, listen, they're not going to have a choice. You're not going to be able to wrestle forever. You have no choice in that matter. You're not going to be able to do it. So the fact of the matter is, when you put all your eggs in that basket, and then all of a sudden they're on to the next 24-year-old guy, and you're on the outside looking in, well, like, what do you do at that point? And, you know, the fact, I mean, that's why I love the fact that you were going to acting school while you were with FSW and NXT, you were already looking ahead to the future. And that's what I think a lot of these guys, you know, it's the old, you know, you can't see the forest from the tree. They see what's right here, but they don't understand this is going to be gone like that. And you've got to prepare yourself for that. That's all.
And if you want to be in the do something in the entertainment, and you know, some of them, you know, they're in WWE, or if you're looking to do something else, unless you're on their, you're one of their picked people, it's offensive. You know, you want to go be an actress, or you want to do this, or you want to do that. No, if you don't live, breathe, shit, eat wrestling, then what the hell are you doing in this business? Yeah,
and unfortunately, what they don't understand is when they're done with you, they're done with you.
They're done.
And they don't get that. You're kicked to the curb, and we're on to the next guy. That's why you have to think of yourself like you do as a brand and a business. That's exactly what you're doing.
Yep, and then you invest in it. You invest in yourself outside of that. Don't just kill yourself for other people and then get kicked to the curb, and then what?
It's amazing to me, Karlee, that I know women are very temperamental about their age, but I got your age on Wikipedia. It's just amazing to me how wise you are for your age. And the fact that especially in wrestling, it did not take you long to figure all this stuff out, because I'm telling you, I know guys in their 40s that still haven't figured it out yet.
It's crazy, and it didn't take. I truly figured it out not too long after when I started doing NXT, and I was just looking around, and I was just like, you want to know what though too? I wanted to be challenged. I wasn't being challenged anymore. There was nothing. I like, the reason I like this character so much, and I like Lucha and Catrina, and not only am I being challenged on my being comfortable or how far I can go with her, but I'm allowed to do it. And that's part of the reason why I fell in love with acting so much. You know, when you get scripts handed to you, or you get characters handed to you, and they go hand in hand. Wrestling and acting, you know, it's not, like we've said numerous times, it's not just about the wrestling. It's acting. It's the character. It's everything you do. So when you're handed a script, every character, every person should look at that as a script, I think. When you're handed a character, that is your script. So how far, what can you do to make it different? What can you tweak, you know? And that's the way I look at it, because then it challenges me every time, and I don't want to be comfortable.
Well, Karlee, what it is, and a lot of wrestlers are the same, but they don't understand it. If you're in the wrestling business, and especially in your case, okay, you honestly and truly are an artist. You know, you've created this character, Catrina. You can continue to develop and evolve this character. You're an artist. With an artist, just like when wrestlers put matches together, with an artist, comes creativity. The minute your creativity is put in a box and you're a creative person, you're done. You're done. You're going to be miserable. If you are full of creativity and you can't express that, and you're told, I got to be this way, I got to act this way, I got to talk this way, you are going to be absolutely miserable. And thank God, with Lucha, with Catrina, you found an outlet that not only suits you so well right now, but is also setting you up for your future, whatever that may be in the entertainment world.
Yeah, it couldn't be it could be better either, because they understand the concept of whatever you do outside of lucha only helps lucha.
Yep. Exactly.
There is no tie-down contract. They don't want to keep me from going out and reading for feature films and shows and doing this stuff. They know that's what I love. They know I'm passionate about it. They don't want to stop me. We have an understanding. I will be fair to you. I love what I do for lucha. Be fair with me. And they don't try to stop that. I knew I would never have that opportunity with WWE. I wouldn't have the opportunity to go out on weekly. It's pilot season. I know a lot of people in the wrestling industry don't know what that is, but for the next 4 months, this is the largest time for the entertainment industry in Hollywood. You know, every single pilot that everybody watches besides wrestling, every show they love, all of them are being made now. All new actors and actresses are getting looked at now. And our producers know that, so they know how busy I'm going to start being. I'm already getting calls. They work with me. Yeah. They want me to do well because it helps lucha as well.
Well, not only that, Karlee, yeah, it helps lucha, but not only that, isn't it just common sense to keep your employees happy?
Yes, and you would fucking think it would be, but no, I guess not, because every common sense reality in this industry is just.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing I always say about wrestling. You know, listen, we know how wrestling is with money, but I always say it's free to give somebody a pat on the back. It's free to tell somebody you did a great job. We appreciate you. It costs you nothing, but yet in wrestling, that's just so hard for some people to do. And I never understood that, because it doesn't cost you anything, and that's more important to people than anything.
It is, and you aren't going to hear anything but that on set with us. Like, from talent to writers, every day after the show, I'm not the only one that Chris comes in and goes, I fucking love you, you're amazing, and gives me a hug and kiss. And I see him compliment Mundo or somebody else. You know what I mean? Because that's what you do. You do that, and we compliment them for allowing us to be us. You know, and that's what makes it so good. You know, for the audience to watch, is because we're happy when we go out there. Yeah. We're happy working.
And you can see that. I mean, you can see it. I mean, like I said, I was backstage. The environment is completely different. But so Karlee, it's January 27th. I guess that's 3 weeks from yesterday, right? So we're less than 3 weeks away.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Yes, we're less than 3 weeks away. I think after this season, it's going to be a whole nother. Not even after. During the season, it's going to be a whole nother ball game for the wrestling industry and for the fans and for lucha. We're not here to compete, you know, with other products. We're here to put on the best that we have, and it just happens, I think the best that we have is the best out there. So I think everyone's going to have to step up now.
I don't. Can I tell you something, Karlee? They're not going to step up. You want to know why? Because people in the wrestling industry look at your show and they don't understand it. They don't get it. They'll never be able to compete on the level of Lucha Underground, because in their minds, wrestling is one way. It's done one way. They will never
apples, though, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, they would never understand. Listen, you're the only company out there by far that has evolved the wrestling business, and that's what's wrong with wrestling today. It hasn't evolved. It's gone backwards. You're the only company that's evolved it, and what all that came out of was, you know, again, it just goes back to having the balls and daring to be different.
Yeah. So, I can't wait for you to see it. You're gonna.
Yeah, I can't either. I've been really down on wrestling, and I really don't watch it. I mean, I watch Raw.
The product.
Yeah, I watch Raw because I get paid to be honest with you. Outside of that, I don't watch anything. But now, definitely after this discussion, you got me excited again because again,
I'm excited to hear your opinions after like a good solid month of it being on.
Yeah. Well, you'll hear them because January 27th. The El Rey Network. Karlee, tell people too, because I always get confused with this. Where else can they see the show outside of El Rey?
Well, I think I'm allowed to say this because we haven't really, and I don't know if Chris has mentioned this, but it is heavily in talks for Netflix as we speak right now. So they will be able to see it everywhere. Let's keep our fingers crossed that is what's really going to happen. But El Rey, man, I don't know the exact providers that El Rey is on. Everyone can Google it and see if their provider carries it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like for the Spanish speaking.
Telemundo Una Más. The largest. We're prime time on the Spanish channels. But it'll be a whole new world if, from what I'm hearing, is correct with Netflix.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's that again. When we talk about evolve on the business, that's the wave of the future. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That would be great for you guys.
Yep, it would be incredible. So I'm excited I'm going to keep my ears open on those news. So far, it's been good news about it. So let's hope that happens by the time season 2 is up and going.
Yeah. Well, Karlee, I thank you so much for giving me this time today. Lucha Underground will be back season 2, January 27th on the El Rey Network. Big changes in store for the Catrina character. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Karlee, thank you so much for joining me today on Vixens Who Rule. Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Pro Wrestling's history class is now in session with Back to the Territories. Join host Jim Cornette and J.J. Dillon as they explore Mid-Atlantic wrestling.
Sitting there with his hands like this was Jim Crockett Sr.
3.5 hours of wrestling history told through rare memorabilia and exclusive footage.
Nothing topped Wahoo McDaniel and Johnny Valentine.
Featuring over an hour of lost Mid-Atlantic film footage from Jim Cornette's collection.
The kid from Minnesota, it was going to be something, Ric Flair.
Head back to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling at shootinterviews.com.